there, it's Debbie with the Pickin Coop Farmstead. I'm from the garden at 34 degrees or whatever out there. I am back in the house now, and I am making a new batch of face salve, which I've already done a video on, but what I wanted to show you today is it's kind of an experiment, because I put a little pea size of my face salve, which is almost gone, my tallow salve I've been using on my face, and it was infused, in case you haven't watched that video, it was infused with wild rose hips that I have dehydrated. I crushed them up, and then I have my own homegrown little lavender buds that are dried, and I let that sit low and slow for, gosh, several hours, all day basically. And then I pour it into my little half-pint jar, put it in the bathroom, and I use that every single morning. And it works great, but I would like it to be a little smoother, because in the wintertime it gets really cold, especially up here, and it's super hard, and you have to really work it and work it and work it to get it warm enough where it spreads on your face and you have little chunks of tallow everywhere. But what I have been doing, just as an experiment, is I've been adding to my little pea size tallow castor oil. So you want to make sure that you get a hexane-free and organic, of course, if you can, castor oil. And castor oil is super, super good for your skin. It's very healing. And I've noticed on my chest, all those wrinkles are almost gone. On my face, you can't really tell, but on my face, it seems to be, they're minimizing. I'm still really working around this area, around my eyes. Plus, I'm doing my eyelids. It's even supposed to, if you put it on your eyelids, it's supposed to help minimize cataracts. So I don't know. I have an eye appointment at the end of this month. It's been a year since I had my appointment. They said I had the beginnings of cataracts. So I'm curious to see if they've diminished at all. I don't know. It's worth a try, but it sure makes your skin nice and soft. So anyways, I thought this time around, I'm going to infuse just like I did last time. So what I have done, I have 2 of these little half-pint jars. So I've got a pint of tallow, roughly. And I melted those down in a crock pot with water. You don't want to put the lid on, because you don't want to add moisture to this, because it will mildew. So this is my melted tallow. And I'm going to gently put it back in there, and it's on low. You don't want to go fast, so low and slow. So the next thing I want to do is I have my little grinder. I got this KitchenAid grinder for like $6 at Goodwill, and boy, does this thing work great. I have a coffee bean grinder that I've had for years, because they say not to do coffee in these things if you're going to be doing your herbs, because the residual from the coffee, the oils and stuff, will get in and make your stuff smell and taste like that. So I'm like, great. So little story, the other day I was wanted to grind some coffee beans, and I got my old grinder out, and I somehow dropped it on the floor. Well, it broke it. So I had to use this. So I cleaned it really, really well, and then I sprayed it with white vinegar, let it sit, wiped it out, and it doesn't smell like coffee or anything right now. So we're gonna hope it's okay. So last time, I have a little book. So when you're experimenting, I suggest you keep a little notebook. So what I did is I used a cup of tallow, a 1/4 cup of crushed rose hips, and then I used a 1/4 cup of crushed lavender. So I think I'm going to double that. Maybe, well, let's see what I have here. We'll see. Let's see what we got. So what we're going to do is I'm going to measure this out. 1/2 cup. I don't know how fine this is going to crush these up. Put that in there. Because the rose hips, what the rose hips is, it introduces vitamin C, which is super good for age spots and all that kind of stuff. And they say that rose hips has more vitamin C in it than citrus, which is absolutely amazing to me. Okay, so plug your ears. Here it goes. Okay, let's take a, woo! Boy, that did a fantastic job. Look at that. Let me bring you closer. Look at that. Whew, don't want to breathe that in. All right, so I want to see what I have. I want to use at least a half a cup. I'm trying to keep track of my measurements because I like to give this kind of stuff to family and friends. I don't sell it. And yeah, so this is what it looks like. I'm going to grab my canning funnel just because I don't want to spill it all over. So hold on just one second. All right, we've got that. I'm going to pour that in. Now, I'm going to do the same thing, only I'm probably going to use a cup. Maybe. Let's try. Oh, this lavender smells heavenly. And did you know that you can use lavender leaves? They will give you the medicinal value, the same medicinal value that the blooms have, but I think they're a little stronger. I'm gonna do a cup of lavender. I'm being kind of stingy with my lavender because this is all I have left. I have some what they call Spanish lavender, and I can use that too, which I probably should be doing that. It smells really good. But this one is, I don't know. This is the one I like to use, and I think a lot of folks, this is what they use too. All right, I'm just going to pulse this because I don't want to obliterate it. I think that's good enough. Let's let you look. We've got still some whole ones and a little bit of powder. So that is all going to go in there. So it's all an experiment. Okay, so now we want to stir this up. And I have these chopsticks I bought years ago. Gabby and I love using them, especially when I make stir fry. And then we're just going to stir this guy up. I don't know if you can see. Make sure everything gets all incorporated with the oil. And I'll show you what it looks like once it gets all stirred up. All right, I'm gonna leave that in for a second because this is face salve number 1. This is going to be face salve number 2. So what we ended up using, let's say, is 16 ounces of tallow. And the reason I keep track of this again is it's all an experiment. And then once I get it fine-tuned how I absolutely love it, then I can refer back to this. So then we used 1/2 cup of crushed rose hips. And then we used 1 cup of crushed lavender. And for this initial part, the infusing part, that's really basically all there is to it. Then what I do, I just, every time I walk by, I'll come over and I'll just give this a little stir. Now, as promised, I want to show you what it looks like. There we go. And it looks nice and thick. But it's still, you know, everything is covered up, and it's going to sit here all day long, and it's just warm enough to keep it melted. You don't want to do this hot, because otherwise, if you did this hot or on high or boiled it on the stove, I've done it on the stove before, but I keep it on low, 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 the lowest that your stove will go. And I put water in it just like this, and that kind of makes it kind of like a double boiler. But it works fantastic, and that's all there is to it. But like I said, if you do it at a higher heat, think, oh, that'll be faster. It kills all the benefits that you're trying to get from this. It kills all the stuff in the tallow, just like when you're making your tallow. You don't want to crank, I do mine in the crock pot, you don't want to crank this up on high. You want to do low and slow all day long. So same with this. And so once we get to the next stage, I will be back and we'll go over that. We'll be straining this, and then we are going to go ahead and add, I haven't decided if I'm going to do 2/3 tallow and 1/3 castor oil. I'm just not really sure how I want to do it. But when we get to that point, we'll be back. You can go along with me and figure out what I'm going to do. Okay, I am back. It's been about 5 hours. I like to infuse my oils at least 4 to 6 hours, somewhere in there. If you go over and it's a little under, that's fine. It's your personal preference. But I find that it gets enough of the medicinal properties and the yummy smells if you're after that. But, so anyways, here we go. I'm kind of, whoa. So what we have here is I've got my glass. I think this is 4 cups, 1 liter. Yes, 4 cups. And I've got a strainer. It fits perfectly over that. I have a towel that I use over and over again because it never gets completely grease-free, I guess you want to say, but it is clean. It's dingy because of the colors. I'm going to reuse these jars that the tallow was in the first place. I didn't even wash them because I don't want to introduce any water or anything to these. Now, if I was making this to give away or sell, this, obviously, they would be nice, sterile containers that they would be in. But, so now, over here, we have our infused tallow. It's all melted. Starting to smell. Smells really yummy, actually. I do like the amount of the lavender that I put in this time. So let me, hold on just a second. Let me move you forward. I gotta move this just a smidgy. I'm trying to get closer here. There we go, so you can see what's going on. Alright, so all you really need to do is just strain this. I use the cheesecloth because, as you can see, there's little bits in here that I don't want on my face. So I'm going to go ahead, pour this in here. And you want to be mindful that you're not overflowing whatever you're pouring your stuff in. Get all the goodness out of there, because you're going to be squeezing this, and you're going to want every little bit of that oil out of there. Alright, I'm going to put this back in here just to keep it warm. Oh, well, now it's full of water, so, oh well. Okay, so now, and it's pretty warm, so be careful. I just gather up all the corners of my said cheesecloth. And it's warm, but it's not hot. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to squeeze this and get every little drop out of this that you can. Because the tallow is basically precious. All right, I think we're pretty well. This is kind of a messy job here. Now, I'm just going to rub this all over. My skin doesn't want to soak this up right now because there's a lot on there. All right, so now my goal is, I think I'm going to start with, because we're ending it up with a little tiny bit over 1 cup. So I'm going to put 1/4 cup of my castor oil in. And we're going to stir that around. Now this is an experiment, mind you. Let me get my little scraper. Usually I'm a lot neater than this, but obviously this afternoon I am not. All right, so I'm going to stir this around. I want this to blend nicely. It's starting to coagulate already, which thickening up there, little clumps. I'm wondering if a wire whisk would almost be better. I'm just trying to dirty everything in the house. I think I'm going to stick with 1/4 cup of the castor oil. I'm going to get my little wire whisk, and we're going to whisk that around. I think it'll incorporate a little better. There, if you can see that, I got my camera kind of at an angle that's hard for me to see. It's a really pretty orange color. Almost like the color of mango or something is what it looks like. So I'm going to kind of keep doing this as it cools down. There, we don't have any more of those little thickened areas. All right, now I'm going to pour these into my little cups here. Hopefully you can see that. Yes, here we go. Well, I don't think I can get it all into one jar. I filled that first one pretty full. But it is super smooth and creamy, though, I have to say. I'm curious to see what the consistency is going to be like when it's totally cooled off. So this way you're going to get all the benefits of castor oil and all the benefits of tallow, grass-fed tallow, and all the benefits of... It's starting to really thicken up there. Look at that. I'm impressed. I think I'm going to scoop some of this out and put it in here. Yeah, I think it's going to be more of a creamy consistency. It'll be easier to apply. And you could even use this, not just for your face, that's what I'm mainly making it for, but you can use it as wound care and all kinds of stuff because of all the good properties. I mean, look how thick that is. It's getting nice and thick. So I'm very impressed with myself right now. It smells good, and I've got so much on my hands, it's going to take a while to dissipate, but I'm going to rub it all in. You can't waste it. Whew, I'm excited. All right, so I'm going to put some on my face right now. I already have tallow on it, but even use it for... Keep all those, I don't know if any of you guys have gone gray yet, but boy, when I turn gray, my hair's got all these little frizzy bits. And since I've been I made my own shampoo, kind of an update on that too. It was just, you infuse Castle soap, a blank Castle soap, which just means the unscented kind. You infuse that with any of your herbs of your choice. I used my fresh rosemary, and I also used lavender. And it turned, you put it in a jar with the Castle soap, and then there's a video on it, and it turned it a hideous, a hideous green. And I thought, wow, with all this white. So I only use it like every third shampoo because I just don't want it. I don't know if it would actually turn my hair green, but I'm telling you what, my hair, I used it for years, ever since I can remember. When I wash my hair, gobs of speaking of hair, gobs of hair in the drain, in the shower, in my brush. Thank goodness I have super thick hair. But I'm like, I just assumed that was normal. Well, no, it's because of commercial shampoos that you buy. All the stuff that's in there causes your hair to fall out. So I thought, well, that's really interesting. And it said, when I was researching this, they said that you will notice rosemary, for one, stimulates your scalp, causes more hair growth. And then also, because of the purity of the soap shampoo and with the herbs and everything, your hair will not fall out. So I have very minimal of that anymore, so that's a good thing. I thought. And my scalp's not itchy anymore, and my hair, I still spray vinegar on it, and I'll put some colloidal, I'll spray colloidal silver. Don't have that wet dog smell. My hair is super soft now. It's just, it's crazy. It works great. So, but here you have it. Look at this. I mean, The steps are super easy and quick. It's just slow and low cooking it. And so today was a 5-hour day. And then I just put my lids on this and I'll store it in my bathroom. And then I can use this. I should be using it twice a day, but I'm really excited now. I don't have to mix little pea size of tallow with 3 drops of castor oil. So there it is. It's done. I'm excited. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, clean up my nasty, greasy mess. And word to the wise, careful when you're rinsing stuff down your drain with tallow. It could clog up your drain, so be very, very careful with that. Probably should wash them in hot, soapy water. Throw the water somewhere outside, and then come back and you can rinse them once you've got all that oil and grease out of there. But yeah, that's all there is to it. And so you've got, I might just use one for my face and then one for, you know, medicinal uses. Who knows? I've got 2 now. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, liking, subscribing. If you have any questions or if you have suggestions, also put those in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys, if you have experimented with any kind of salves or lotions or any kind of moisturizer for your face and what you use, what you like, what you don't like, that kind of thing. All right. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.